Hey you're watching a clip from the DynamiteGizmo podcast. This is not the full episode, but if you want to see the full episode, make sure to click the link in the description. And remember, like, comment, subscribe. Do it now. Here's the clip. Okay, let's get into this, okay? Dana fucking White came on the old Instagram with his bald-ass head in the war room, and he said, I'm going to announce some fights. You know, a lot of people complain about the way in which Dana White decides to announce fights. Back in the day, it used to be a huge spectacle. You'd get the guys in a room, they'd face each other, they'd talk shit to each other, there'd be a nice trailer montage of something, or they'd bring the guys in at a pre-fight press conference, and they'd say, guess what? These guys are going to fight next. But not anymore. It's just Dana sitting in a room with his bald head telling you what's up. He's just sitting in a room telling you what's up. And it's not ideal. But the good thing about it is at least we get the fights. I guess it doesn't really matter how they are announced as long as we get the fights. I'm getting messages out the hoo-ha because I'm popular. So Dana yesterday came on the fucking Instagram and he dropped some bangers. And I know bangers. I know bangers, dude. I'm trying to rip off, the fuck's his name? The MMA guru. We got UFC 320. Magomed versus Alex Pereira 2. Oh, yeah. And it's going to co-main with Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we also have Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree on the same fucking card. At least I think that's the way they're doing it. They're going to feature with Yuri versus Khalil. They're going to co-main with Merab and Corey. And then they're going to headline with Magomed, Onk, versus Alex Pereira. Not too shabby. And finally, after all these fucking years of waiting, we finally get to see Tom Aspinall defend the undisputed heavyweight title against Ciryl Gane. We all knew it was coming. And we were all waiting for the Tom Aspinall announcement. And it happened, and there's not even an ounce of excitement because it's been dragged out for so long that we were all sick of it. It was basically we're just waiting for the UFC to announce, like, hey, just give them fucking Ciryl Gane. Just give him that cereal, fucking milky cereal. Give him that cereal, dude. And it came, and it's like, okay, there it is. Okay, finally. We'll get that one out of the way, and then I guarantee you, throughout the entirety of 2026, Tom Aspinall is not only going to be the most active fighter of the year, but he's going to be fighter of the year, and he's going to dominate like a motherfucker. Okay, Alex Pereira dominated 2024. He was the guy, he was the man, he was on top, he was the superstar. 2025, he died. Right at the beginning of the year, he died, and we haven't heard from him since. There's been no shamas, and it's sad. It's sad. He was so dominant in 2024, and look at him now. But 2026, it's the year of the Aspinall. And from then on forward, he's going to be the greatest heavyweight champ to ever do it. I guarantee it. There's no way this Ciryl Gane is going to get him down. All right, Tom's going to knock him out in the first round just like he does everybody else. That's what he's going to be known for the rest of his career. Knockout after knockout in the first round, in the first round, in the first round, in the first round, in the so really stacked lineup. We've been waiting. We've been wanting. There's been some shit cards. There's been some good cards. There's been some okay cards. But now we got some fucking meat on our fucking plate, dude. And I also gotta be honest. out of all those fights that are announced, the 3 of them, 4 of them, whatever, 4 of them, the Yuri versus Khalil fight, probably the fight I'm most excited for. Yuri is one of, if not my favorite fighter in the UFC. I love that dude for so many reasons, not just the way he fights, but the way he speaks, the way he acts, the things he does. He just seems like the coolest fucking dude ever. I would love to sit down and eat some fucking sushi with that guy. Don't go to a hotel room with him, though. He does some funky stuff, if you know what I mean. Those who know. But with these fight announcements, this puts us in a really awesome situation. Because even though we all want Alex to reclaim that heavyweight title, if he loses and Yuri wins against Khalil, which more than likely will happen, Yuri will be next in line to fight for the title. And he'll fucking smoke Ankh out of the water, and we'll have Yuri as the light heavyweight champ once again. Okay? And even if Alex does win the light heavyweight title back, I'm imagining that Alex will either vacate the light heavyweight title or keep that light heavyweight title and move up to heavyweight and fight Tom Aspinall for the greatest fucking super fight we've ever seen in over a fucking decade. All right? Which will make up for all the fucking John Jones shenanigans. And plus, even if that situation happens, Yuri would still have the opportunity to fight for the vacated title if Alex chooses to do so. So there's so much on the horizon of what could happen. It's a goddamn win-win. I mean, providing that Yuri wins, Yuri has to win. And then we also have Merab versus Corey. Now, I fucking love Corey. How could you not? But him up against Merab, I don't know, man. I don't think he has the skill to do it. I don't think he can take Merab out. And I don't think there's anyone in the top 10 at least who can take out Merab. He's going to be sitting on that throne for quite a while. Okay? Until someone like maybe Vinicius Oliveira climbs up those ranks, which I imagine won't take much longer because he is zooming through the bantamweight division. Or, and this is a big or, and this is a big or, this is a big or, we've got Bryce Mitchell. I know it's crazy to say, okay, but he's talking a big game, dude. I have a clip here. He's talking a big game. He said he used to train with Merab. He knows Merab. Okay? Now, we all know Bryce Mitchell is a featherweight, and he's known for being a featherweight his whole career, his whole UFC career. But he's moving down to bantamweight for this upcoming fight against Said Nurmagomedov. And here he is talking some schmack. Not really smack. He's friends with Merab. But he's saying, I can get the job done.
Path at bantamweight, do you map out how you think you can get to the top?
I think that it wouldn't take long, especially with some great finishes. You go out there and finish, and it wouldn't take many. And then a man would be up top in this division because, like I said, they need something exciting right now. Because let's be honest, nobody's going to beat Merab. Who's going to beat Merab? You're going to have to call somebody that can beat him because right now, literally nobody can beat Merab. So they're going to realize that they need a guy like me. Here I am. Call me.
I like that.
I always pick up the phone. I always say yes. And I don't care who it is. The UFC knows I've never turned down a fight. I don't ask for opponents. I just say yes when they call.
And you mentioned Merab here. You said you don't see anyone beating him. He's supposed to fight Corey Sandhagen next.
And Corey's going to lose. And that's what's going to happen. And you can watch the fight just to watch Corey get beat. But he's not going to win. Nobody's going to beat Merab unless if they call somebody who knows how to. And, yeah, I love Merab. Merab is actually a great friend of mine. And I can promise you he's going to beat Corey. It's boring. Nobody wants to watch him win and not fight. Everybody wants to see a fight.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I'm bringing a fight to this division. It's going to shake things up. It's actually going to get people interested in this division again. Because, once again, nobody wants to watch Merab win easily.
What do you feel like people do wrong against Merab? They point to his cardio, his grappling overwhelming people. Simple as that, or what do you see? What do you feel like people do wrong against him?
Well, it's just the way that they've trained the last 10 years. I've known Merab since I was 19 years old. I met him at Law MMA. They're not going to beat him. I've trained with Merab. I know him. Corey ain't going to beat him, and it's not because Corey ain't in great shape and this and that. It's because Corey...
Okay, what are we going to do? Watch the whole interview? What are we going to do? Watch the whole interview? I've got a podcast to do. You get the point. Now, Bryce has had bantamweight fights in the past, and he won them all. But they were amateur bouts outside of the UFC, so it doesn't really reflect anything. We've only ever seen Bryce fight at featherweight in the UFC, and until his loss to Ilia Topuria, before Ilia was even the champ or, thought of being the champ, before Bryce got knocked out by Ilia, he was on an undefeated UFC win streak of 6 wins. Did you know this? And since that knockout, he has had a win over Dan Ige, he had a loss to Josh Emmett, and then he had a win over Kron Gracie, and then a loss to Jean Silva. Win, lose, win, lose, my guy. Kind of a similar trajectory to what Dustin Poirier did, in terms of just simply not having 2 losses in a row. So maybe him moving down to bantamweight will help progress his career a little bit. When you look at Bryce Mitchell at featherweight, he is a kind of a small featherweight. So, yeah, bring him down to bantamweight. Maybe he'll do fucking phenomenal. He'll be a big bantamweight. And maybe he actually can give Merab a run for his money. Like I said, this weekend in particular, he is fighting at bantamweight for the first time ever in his UFC career. And it's a decent matchup against Said Nurmagomedov, who, by the way, just in case if you're wondering, by the last name, he's not related to Khabib. He doesn't even train at Eagles MMA. They have trained together, and they're both from Dagestan, obviously. But he's not part of that Eagle MMA crew, okay? But he's still a pretty dominant fighter at bantamweight, and we mentioned Vinicius before, earlier in the episode, and actually Said is coming off a loss against Vinicius. They just fought recently. And Vinicius won. He creamed him, okay? We saw what Bryce did to Kron Gracie. Do you think he's capable of doing the same thing to Nurmagomedov as well? Imagine having that on your resume. You have a win over a Gracie and a Nurmagomedov? That's cool. I know it's Kron Gracie and it's Said Nurmagomedov. It's not like Khabib and fucking Royce Gracie or something, but still, you got those last names on your resume. It looks pretty good. I gotta be HONEST.
Tap here to watch the full episode of the Dynamite Gizmo podcast.